So, it seems like everywhere you look, people are going vegetarian or vegan, right? And people make the switch for all sorts of reasons. Ethics, the environment, or, the promise of some major health benefits. And you hear all about the physical perks, but there's this whole other side of the story that we just don't talk about nearly as much.
I mean, the common story, the one we all know, is pretty simple. It's all about a healthier body. The idea is that you eat more plants, you cut out meat, and your body is going to thank you. And look, it's a really powerful idea, right? Super appealing.
Okay, but what happens when we switch gears? What if we shift the focus from our bodies to our minds? Does a vegetarian diet automatically mean you'll have a healthier mind? Yeah, that's where things get, well, a lot more complicated and honestly way more interesting.
So first things first, let's talk about what the research actually confirms. Because there really is this kind of health halo around vegetarian diets when you're talking about physical wellness. The data totally backs this up.
Okay, so take a recent study of adults in Peru. It found some really clear physical pluses. For starters, vegetarians, on average, had a lower body mass index, BMI, and they also reported way less emotional eating. That's when you eat because of how you feel, not because you're hungry. So yeah, on those physical points, that health halo, it seems to be shining pretty bright.
But here's the twist. When the researchers started to look past those physical things and started asking about mood, about mental well-being, the picture started to get, well, a little fuzzy, not so clear-cut anymore.
And this is where we get to the real heart of it, the findings that really challenge what a lot of us just assume to be true. See, multiple recent studies from totally different parts of the world all started pointing to this really surprising and consistent pattern.
So check this out. This chart from a 2024 study in Lebanon makes the main point crystal clear. Vegetarians had significantly higher depression scores. And listen, this wasn't just a fluke. That same study in Peru we were just talking about, it found the exact same thing. Vegetarians were much more likely to report symptoms of depression.
Okay, so what about anxiety? Well, this is where the puzzle gets even trickier. The study in Peru, it found that vegetarians also reported higher levels of anxiety. But the study in Lebanon, they found no significant difference at all between the groups. So what does that tell us? It tells us this connection is not simple. There are probably a whole bunch of different things going on here.
So, what in the world is going on here? How can a diet that's linked to a healthier body also be associated with more symptoms of depression? It seems like a contradiction, right? Well, researchers have some really interesting theories that try to untangle this whole thing.
All right, one of the biggest biological explanations comes down to one crucial nutrient, vitamin B12. You need this stuff for a healthy nervous system. The thing is, you find it almost exclusively in animal products, so vegetarians, and especially vegans, are at a way higher risk of not getting enough. And we know for a fact that a B12 deficiency is directly linked to neuropsychiatric symptoms, including depression.
But let's be real, it's probably not just about one single vitamin. The why here is likely a big mix of things. Beyond B12, you've got other potential gaps, like omega-3s. Then there's the social side, the pressure of being a dietary minority, And here's a huge question researchers are wrestling with. Which way does the arrow point? Is it possible that people who are already struggling with their mood are drawn to vegetarianism, maybe hoping a diet change will make them feel better? Or maybe it's the emotional weight of it all, the ethical and environmental concerns, that eco-anxiety we hear about. Could that be part of the story? Okay, this is the perfect moment to talk about the absolute #1 rule when you're looking at this kind of research. This quote is a classic way to explain it. Just because ice cream sales and drowning incidents both rise in the summer doesn't mean one causes the other, right? One doesn't cause the other. They're both connected to a third thing, hot summer weather. It's a super simple reminder. Just because two things are happening together, it does not mean one is causing the other. All right, so let's zoom out. Let's put all these pieces of the puzzle together. What's the real takeaway here? It's not that vegetarian diets are bad for you. Not at all. It's that health is way more complex than just a single label. And we're putting this on its very own slide because it is that important. Say it with me. Association is not causation. These studies show a link, an association between vegetarianism and higher reported depression. What they do not do, what they cannot do, is prove that the diet causes depression. That is the single most important thing to get from all of this.
So the big takeaway is not, don't go vegetarian. It's about being smart and intentional about any diet you choose. Look, whether you eat meat or not, a truly healthy approach has to be holistic. It means you're planning ahead to get those key nutrients, like B12. It means you're focusing on whole, unprocessed foods, and it means recognizing that your community, your social support, and getting advice from professionals, all of that is just as important as what's on your plate.
And all of this really leaves us with one last big question to chew on. This research really pushes us to rethink what healthy even means. Maybe a truly healthy diet isn't just about fueling your body. Maybe it's also about supporting your mind and fitting into your social and emotional life in a way that actually works. So I'll leave you with this. What does that look like for you?